Am I the asshole for cutting off my ex-friend? For some backstory. I met my female 20s who we'll call Maddy friend freshman year of college and grouped up with her with another female 20s who we'll call Stacy friend of mine who I am currently still friends with today. Myself, female 20s, and my friends Stacy and Maddy met during orientation week through mutual friends. I always thought Maddy was odd but never paid it any mind as I thought that was how she was. Long story short, during COVID my brother was graduating college and I really wanted to be there. My brother had a ticket for me and we were making plans to come. During this time, I was also in college and living on campus but didn't have a car, so I wasn't able to drive back home, which was close to a 2-hour trip. So my parents were going to come pick me up. However, my brother's college needed negative COVID tests, which weren't the rapid test but the ones where you had to book an appointment to get, and they needed it by the end of the week. It was Thursday when I learned of this and the graduation was Friday. My parents weren't able to pick me up any earlier and bring me home to take a COVID test because the results wouldn't have come in time and I wouldn't be able to go to the graduation. So I decided to look for appointments closer to where my college was located and book the earliest appointment. I saw that a CVS had appointments and they were over 20-minute drive. My friend suggested that I take an Uber, but I didn't want to go by myself and get stranded, so one of my friends suggested that she would come with me. We went Thursday and took the Uber to CVS, but when we showed up the receptionist said my appointment was booked for Friday. I was confused as I clearly booked the appointment for Thursday and showed her. She said that it stated Friday and I explained to her that wasn't what I booked and asked if they had walk-ins and she said no and they don't have spares because they would have to order it. Some more conversations occurred and we had to get out the Uber. We waited inside CVS looking for rides back to campus but couldn't find one cheap enough because we didn't have enough to pay it. Maddy started getting mad at me, blaming me for making her come and bringing her with me, saying that I should have gone by myself. I looked at her sideways, telling her that she agreed to come with me as a buddy and that I didn't know why the appointment date was changed because I didn't change it. She continued berating me and we argued and she said she was going to leave me in the store by myself to figure it out how to get back to campus on my own. She was busy getting a ride for herself and told me I couldn't come with her and her friend to pick us up together and that I would have to pay her a lot of money to cover her picking me up. I asked Maddy how much I had to pay and she acted clueless and said that she didn't know if her friend would let me come. I told her she was a crappy friend for trying to ditch me when it wasn't my fault that there was a switch up with the dates and I couldn't get the COVID test that day. She continued blaming me and we argued more, and then after we finished yelling at each other in the store, she began ignoring me. I mass texted my mom and Stacy telling them what was wrong as I felt so hurt by what Maddy did and was crying because I didn't know what to do. Neither Maddy nor myself had enough money for the Uber and knew no one near our college who could pick us up. My mom suggested I walk and I told her it was over 1 hour and raining and I didn't want to get hit by a car on the road because they were going well over 40 miles per hour. Maddy managed to get her friend to come pick her up and she left the store. I didn't want to get stranded in the store, so I bolted out the store and walked out in the parking lot. Maddy was getting in the car and as I was walking to the car, they started pulling out to leave. I stood behind the car so they couldn't back up any further and made them stop the car to let me in. Both Maddy and her friend were hesitant to give me a ride but eventually agreed, saying I had to pay. I curled up to myself and we drove in the car in silence. I cried quietly and didn't talk to Maddy at all. I texted Stacy what happened and she felt sorry that I had to go through that. She said she would help if she could, but she went back home. I told her I knew she wasn't able to help, but knowing that she comforted me made me feel like I had someone to lean on. We arrived at the campus and I gave Maddy's friend $5 for dropping me off. I walked off in front of Maddy and her friend and didn't look back. After I got to my dorm, I blocked Maddy and called my mom. I cried to her saying that Maddy wasn't a good friend and she said that I should text her how I felt, but I didn't want to speak with her at all. By the way, I was packing to go home for the break as well and was crying while doing so. The next day came and my mom came to pick me up and we had a moment. I wasn't able to get the COVID test and had to miss my brother's graduation the next day. I was able to see him online, but he's my only brother and being there for his once-in-a-lifetime moment felt so heartbreaking for me. My mom convinced me to talk to Maddy and tell her how I felt and how she hurt me. I unlocked her and called her twice, but she didn't answer. I wasn't expecting her to, nor was I ready to actually talk to her. So I sent her a long text explaining what she did and that I no longer wanted to be friends. Later I found out when I was talking to Stacy that Maddy called her and talked to her about the situation, and Maddy knew that I was calling her. She purposefully screened my calls and acted like she was sick. Side note asterisk, she responded to my text saying she was sick when I called her and that's why she didn't pick up. I knew she was faking it and I just left it as it was. I blocked her again and left that friendship untouched. I was hurting knowing that someone I thought I could trust would put me in a position like that and treat me like she had no urgency or responsibility for me as a friend. Not sure if that's the right explanation. I eventually moved on and found out that Stacy talked to Maddy about it to hear Maddy's opinion and told me what happened. Stacy suggested to Maddy that she could have texted or called me when I reached out instead of treating me how she did. Stacy and I left it as it was and they continued being friends, but I cut off Maddy. Stacy and I remained good friends, but eventually Stacy and Maddy fell off because Stacy was tired of the energy Maddy was giving and that she constantly talked about unsupportive things in her life and Stacy didn't want to be involved in it. But Stacy and I are still very close and still hang out often with our other F20s, who went to the same college and dorm together. Side note asterisk, I noticed that when I was booking the availability changed and you had to book appointments within 5 minutes or the spot wouldn't be available. Also, the college where I went to, I knew no one around and all my family would have to drive far to get to me. So I was not expecting any help from my family or friends because of the distance. Also, it was the middle of the night reaching past 9 o'clock. It was dark and raining and the sidewalk we were walking on was so narrow that we were worried the cars passing by were going to hit us. So yeah, I was beyond pissed that my so-called friend would abandon me in the middle of nowhere to figure out how I would get back. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, comment your thoughts, and I'll catch you in the next story.